really excited to be here today, and thank you for inviting me. My name's Indleeb Walayat. I'm the director of Kip McGrath Tutoring Centres in Edinburgh Marchmont and Inverleith. I've been running the centres for over 17 years. And why I'm here, I mean, 17 years ago, I left my job. So today I want to tell you a story of my business journey, this has become the most meaningful part of my life. I've been a teacher, so I love helping people and supporting people and teaching, and I've done that all my life. So before I started Kip McGrath, I was still working as a class teacher. So 16 years ago, I left my job as a class teacher and stepped into something I knew very little about. And today I'm the owner of 2 Kip McGrath centres, and we provide maths and English tutoring. At the beginning, my goal was simple. I just wanted financial security. I didn't realise that would become the most meaningful way I would transform young lives and my own. And it's a story about discovering what truly motivates us. So before I ever owned a centre, my husband couldn't get a job, so I was a sole breadwinner. I was trying to support him to get work, and it never worked out. So we were struggling financially. We weren't poor, but we were struggling financially. I used to buy my son's clothes from the car boot sales. And tried other things, tried selling things on eBay to make extra money. And I was constantly thinking, how can I support my family to stay afloat? And so I was looking on Gumtree. I thought, well, I'll have a look, see if I can, buy something, sell it on, make a profit. And then I stumbled upon an advert, a tutoring centre for sale. And it was Kip McGrath. I've never heard of it. And I thought, oh, the universe is calling me. I need to do this. So without any thought or thinking about it at all, I decided to go ahead for it. And I thought, right, I can do this. And at the same time, I had 2 life-changing decisions in front of me. I was in the middle of going through IVF, and I was thinking, and I had this business come up, and I thought, okay, which one shall I go for? Like IVF, desperately wanted a child. I had one already, but I wanted a second one. And we'd been trying for years, and the business. And I thought, okay, and how do you choose? So I thought, why don't I just go for both? So there we were, I went for both. So I was going for IVF, and I knew I was going to start a business, and I didn't have much money. So I sold my endowment and put all my money in the business. We literally only had like a few weeks money left if it didn't work. And looking back, not knowing how hard it would be actually helped me, because fear might have stopped me. So a miracle happened. So I was expecting, and IVF worked. I had a newborn baby, and this was my first Kip McGrath centre. It wasn't assigned centre. It was hardly and it was only like a handful of students, and I started that. And even after I started that, money was tight for a while. We had to kind of work from month to month. And, surviving a business, starting a business doesn't mean instant success. It takes time. And there were many moments where I thought, I can't do this. I'm going to pack this in, because I felt like I was on a treadmill working day and night. I remember that picture was taken because I had to have the babysitter in the back room so I could feed little Rianne there. And also when I started the business, it was so tough in the beginning, because the handful of students that I had, they left because they knew the previous owner. And I was literally, I was crying on the phone, but the lady didn't know that. But because I was like thinking, what have I done? I was exhausted physically and emotionally, and I didn't know if I could keep doing this. So, but a few families stayed, and here we go. What's this one? Okay, yeah. So this is the time we're struggling. We basically didn't have enough money, so we had me and Harris would share a baked potato. So I'd borrow a little plate, and we'd share a baked potato so we could share it, and that was our weekly treat. So my son really helped me a lot. This is him in the centre in the early days, and he's a grown man, and he hosted one of the No Ties meeting a few months ago. So some of you already met him. This is one of our teachers, Seb, one of our students, and Harris also helped with a lot of marketing. He grew up inside the centre, I remember the day before maternity leave, I had to go back. I had 4 months maternity. I had to go back the night before. I was building IKEA shelves, and little Harris was helping me there build that. But then, there was a turning point. My niece ended at my centre, and then that's how I ended up building the IKEA shelf because we had to move the day before I was going back to my full-time teaching role. And then things started to turn a corner. I was motivated, had my own centre, different centre. This was different to the first one. And we got to 50 students and I celebrated. And we bought Harris we bought him some Lego. This should have been a Lego picture, but it's not. But I bought him a Lego box and that we celebrated with that. And I think he got an Xbox as well. And now we have a Lego room and he has every Lego imaginable. So the business started taking off and it became so successful, became super successful. I got many awards. We were ranked, you can see there, 5th in the UK, awards year on year. And awards are lovely. Rankings are nice. I had the money to buy whatever I want. I had so much money, I didn't even really care. We went on so many holidays. We traveled the world. But then I realized it came to a point where money didn't matter. It was what mattered most was the confidence that it brought to the children and the connections that I made, and the difference we were making in people's lives. We had so many happy parents. These are just some recent ones, and I've got permission to use this. This student, he was predicted to get a very low mark, fail, and then after a few weeks of coming, you can see the message that parent's written. She said, the school had told him his child was going to fail. He wasn't going to achieve anything, and then he was now on track to get an A. He's still attending with me at the moment. So this is what mattered more to me is the parents that I've met, the connections that I've made, the lives that we've transformed, and this is what means everything to me. This is why I started attending network meetings, because I realized what mattered to me more than anything was the connections. It wasn't just growing the business and working relentlessly, which I love the business and I love working in it. And I love transforming lives, but what mattered to me most was the connections I made through the business, the children's lives that we transformed. I remember during lockdown, I worked solidly, and it was when Harris turned around and said to me, he said, "Mom, what are you working for?" Because during the lockdown, I felt I had to work every single second because as our lessons moved to online, and it wasn't the best of times, but the business still managed. And this is something that gives me the greatest of happiness. A few days ago, I walked into my son's school open evening, and I was able to send him to one of the best schools in Edinburgh. And I'm very fortunate in that way that our business did do really well. At the entrance, as I was going in, this girl, I say hello to this girl. I don't remember, I don't know her. Well, at least I think I don't know her. But I say, "Hello, what's your name?" There were 4 people at the entrance, only 4 children there, and they're at the entrance of the school, and they were greeting everyone. And I said, "Hi, what's your name?" I shook her hand, and she said, "My name's Hendiki," and I said, "Hendiki Elias," and she was like, "How do you know me?" Sorry, is my camera covered? I didn't even realize. Can you hear?
Yes, all fine.
Yeah, sorry. So I met Hendiki, and so I said, "Hendiki Ellis," and she was shocked. She goes, "How do you know me?" And I said, "Well, I taught you." And so she was shocked. And then I said, "I'm Indy, I taught you." And then there were a few other parents that I met, and this was Ranjana that I met as well. And she was talking to me about her daughter, and she's now at Edinburgh University studying law. And you see, these are the connections I made. And there were many other parents at the school as well. And often when I go to places, I usually meet people and families that I've like, even if I'm at the airport, I'll meet families that I've met. I was at a party the other week, and a parent came up. I was at a Halloween party, and I was talking to someone next to me, and I didn't know this lady, and I said, "Oh yeah, I run Kip McGrath." She goes, "Oh yeah, my niece came to." I said, "Yeah, that's her name," on my phone. So that's the most meaningful part of my journey is helping all these families, and and now I'm getting involved in other ways where I can give back to the community as well. So I've really enjoyed sharing my journey with you. If you have any questions, just let me know.